Now we'll discuss the recovery system. Okay, and these are the chapter contents. First, we'll discuss what is a recovery system, then transaction failure, database recovery, shadow copy scheme, recovery facilities, and mainly we will focus on log-based recovery. This is in our course, and this is very important also. Deferred database modification, immediate database modification, and checkpointing. This log-based recovery is very important. Okay, in this chapter. Okay, now we'll see the recovery system. The recovery manager of a database system is responsible for ensuring two important properties of transaction. Okay, already I have told you four acid property. Four properties should be satisfied by every transaction: atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. But in the recovery system, this atomicity and durability properties should be satisfied by transaction. What is atomicity? I have already told you. Atomicity means it is ondoing of uncompleted transaction or uncommitted transaction is known as atomicity. Ondoing of uncommitted transaction is known as atomicity. What is durability? Durability means redoing of committed transaction is known as durability. What is atomicity? Suppose one transaction T1 is there and various lot many instructions are there, I1, I2 to IN, and the atomicity tells that whenever transaction is executing, either all the instructions of the transaction get executed or none of the instructions get executed. Whenever two, three instructions of the transaction get executed and failure occurs, then at that moment we have to undo the transaction. This is all about your atomicity. And what is a durability? Durability tells that whenever a transaction has completely executed, that means its commit statement has been executed. The commit statement of the transaction has been executed. Whenever the commit statement of a transaction executed, what happens? Whatever modification done to the buffer, whatever modification done to the buffer, suppose buffer memory in what main memory buffer is there and local memory is there. Okay, what in when commit statement is executed, whatever modification done to the buffer, that has to be saved in the database or your secondary memory, hard disk. Okay, and whenever the data items are saved to the database or secondary memory, whenever the packet is going to the database, at that moment if failure occurs, then no need to undo the operations. What we will do, when the system will get okay, at that moment we will redo the operation. Okay, that means what is the durability? Durability means redoing of committed transaction. Suppose commit statement has a transaction, all the instructions of the transaction are get executed and the commit statements are get executed. After that, if failure occurs, then you will redo the transaction. Okay, this is all about your durability. And a recovery manager basically focuses on these two things. One is your atomicity and another one is your durability. These two things are the main focus of recovery system. Okay, then transaction failure. These are the various kind of failures. A transaction failure may happen due to logical error. Okay, logical error means the transaction cannot complete due to some internal error conditions such as wrong input, data not found, overflow, or resource limit exceeds. In this case also transaction failure occurs. And another is your system error. System error means the transaction cannot complete because of the undesirable state. However, the transaction can be re-executed at a later time. Okay, basically due to these two what problem, one is a logical error and system error, transaction failure occurs. And how transaction failure occurs? Due to system crash, maybe the transaction failure, a disk failure may happen. System crash means power failure or other hardware or software failure causes the system to crash. This causes the loss of content of volatile storage and brings transaction processing to a halt. But the content of non-volatile storage remains intact and is not corrupted. Okay, this is also a kind of this is system crash is also a cause of transaction failure. And disk failure, disk blocks loses its contents as a result of either a head crash or failure during the data transfer operation. Copies of the data on other disks are used to recover from the failure. Okay, that means transaction failure is of two types: logical error and system error, and it may occur due to system crash or disk failure. Okay, and database recovery. Okay, database recovery. Database recovery is the process of restoring a database to the correct state in the event of failure. When failure happens, generally, suppose database is there. Suppose database, the state of the database is your database one, and suppose during failure it has gone to database two, and this is your consistent state. And due to failure, it goes to one inconsistent state. Suppose if it will go to your inconsistent state, then the database recovery or recovery what manager, what it do, it generally takes the DB2 to a consistent state. That means the main work of database recovery is to take the inconsistent state of the database to a consistent state when due to failure, if inconsistency happens in the database. That is the main work of your database recovery. This service is provided by the database system to ensure that database is reliable and remains in consistent state in case of failure. And the recovery algorithm which ensure database consistency and transaction atomicity consists of two parts. First one is your actions taken during normal transaction processing to ensure that enough information exists to allow recovery from failures, and actions taken after a failure to recover the database contents to a state that ensures database consistency, transaction atomicity, and durability. Okay, two things generally taken care of by database recovery system. One is your during normal transaction processing, what action we have to take so that failures never occur. And another thing, suppose failure happens, then after that what we have to do, or what processing we have to do so that the database state can be taken from inconsistent state to a consistent state. Okay. Now we'll see one is your very previous technique for database recovery technique. One is your shadow copy scheme. It is not used nowadays. What it what about? Actually, it contains two copies of database. Okay, it generally takes two copies of database. Okay, suppose two copies of database are there, and first suppose some what operations are performed on the new copy of the database. If failure occurs, then and it is pointed by one pointer. Okay, if failure occurs, then this copy will be deleted and it will point to this old copy. Okay, if failure never happens, then it will be point to the new copy of database. Okay, this is your before update. That means suppose data DB pointer is pointing to the old copy of database. Then after update, it points to the new copy of database. Suppose failure happens, then again the DB pointer will point to the old copy of the database. Okay, new copy of the database will be deleted. But in this case, for a huge amount of database or a larger database, it is not useful. That means complete two copy of database we are keeping in this case. And another disadvantage in this case is that this implementation does not allow transaction to execute concurrently with one another. Thus, this cannot use for efficient recovery. Executing a single transaction requires copying the entire database. Okay, that means concurrent execution is not possible to make a copy of the same database, make another copy of the same database. We cannot concurrently do that. Only a single process can do that. That's why it is a time consuming process. That's why it is also not a efficient recovery principle. Now, these are the various recovery facilities provided by what database recovery manager. Okay, one is your backup mechanism. It makes periodic backup copies of the database. Then logging facility. This is very important. Log file. It keeps track of the current state of the transaction and the database modification. Whatever modification we are doing in the database, that is being updated in the log file. Okay, that is a logging facility. And checkpoint facility, it enables updates to the database that are in progress to be made permanent. What happens, suppose lot many transactions are performing, okay, that means lot many instructions are getting executed, then after a certain period of time the data are being saved permanently in the database, okay, and that point is known as checkpointing. That means whenever later on, whenever failure occurs, at that time no need to check the whole log file, we'll go to the checkpoint. After that we'll check what problem has occurred and what thing we have to do, okay. Then here's recovery manager, it allows the system to restore the database to a consistent state following a failure, okay. And these are the various facilities available for database recovery. First, we will see log based recovery, how a log file is maintained, and what is a log based recovery, okay. Log is a sequence of log records recording all the update activities in the database. It is kept on stable storage. There are several types of log records. An update log record describes a single database write. It has the following fields. In case of mm, log record, what are the various fields? First one is a transaction identifier. Every transaction, whatever operation has to be performed by a transaction, that will be assigned with one unique identifier, unique number, okay. This is the unique identifier of the transaction that perform the right operation, okay. Then data item identifier, this is the unique identifier of the data item written. Typically it is the location of disk of the data item. Then old value, this is the value of the data item prior to the write operation. And new value, this is the value of the data item we'll have after the write operation, okay. These four fields are generally present in a log record, okay. Suppose one log file is there, and one record of the log file consists of these four fields. First one is a transaction identifier. Suppose T1 transaction is what writing a data items, then T1 comma, then suppose the transaction is writing on X data items, then X, that is your data item identifier. Then old value is suppose 5, previously it was 5, then new value is suppose 6. In this way, this is one record of the log file, okay. Various types of log records are there. This is your write, for write operation, this is one log. Suppose one transaction Ti has started, then the log record is like this: Ti, this is the transaction identifier Ti, and a start is the, what does the transaction has started, okay. Ti start means the transaction has started. This is one record of the log file. And another write operation can be written like this. Suppose here Ti is the transaction identifier, Xj is the variable on which return has been done, then V1 is the old value of the variable Xj, and V2 is the new value assigned to the variable Xj. Similarly, another record is your Ti commit, transaction Ti has committed. To what store to store the information of commit operation of Ti, we generally write like this: Ti commit. Then abort, suppose one transaction has aborted, then we have to put a record in the log file like this: Ti abort. Ti means transaction identifier, and abort keyword we have to write. When a transaction performs a write operation, it is essential that the log record for that write be created before the database is modified. Okay, that means whenever any operation is performed on the database, suppose a write operation has to be performed, then first we have to write it to the log file. First, in log file, we have to create a record for that write operation. Then the actual write operation will be performed. Okay. For log records to be useful for recovery from system and disk failures, the log must reside in stable storage. Always the log file resides in the stable storage. The log contains a complete record of all database activities. Okay. Then database modification. How the database modification to the database happens. This scheme ensures transaction atomicity by recording all the database modifications in the log, but deferring the execution of all write operations of a transaction until the transaction partially commits. That means database modification, that means whenever any modification happens to the database, okay, that has to be present in the log file. This is your database and this is your log file. Whenever any modification to the database happens, first that has to be recorded in the log file. One record should be put in the log file, then that modification happens in the database. Okay. Then the execution of transaction Ti proceeds as follows. Before Ti starts its execution, a record Ti start is written to the log file. Suppose transaction Ti wants to execute some instruction. Few instructions are there. Before starting of its first starting executing first instruction of transaction Ti, what it will do? It will first write Ti start in the log file. That means transaction Ti has started its execution. Then a write X operation by Ti results in the writing of a new record to the log as this, where V is the new value of X. For this scheme, the old value is not required. Suppose second instruction is, suppose first instruction is a write X. It wants to write the value of X. Then in log file, first it will create transaction identifier, comma variable name, then your old value and new value. But for first time it is writing the X value, that's why no old value is needed. Suppose the value is your 5. It has to put a record like this in log file. After that it will do this operation, write X operation. Okay. Then when Ti partially commits, a record Ti commit is written to the log. Suppose commit statement is present here. Commit statement has to be executed. Before that, first it will write Ti transaction identifier, then commit QR in the log file. Then it will do the commit operation. That means it whatever changes happen to the buffer, that has to be copied to the database. Whenever commit happens, so what happens? Whatever changes to the buffer happens, that has to be saved to the database. Okay. That means every time whenever a transaction is executing any instruction, first some record has to be put in the log file, then that operation has to be performed by the transaction. Okay, this is your database modification. And database modification, suppose in this case transaction T1 is transfer of 100 rupees from account A to account B, and transaction T2 is a transfer of 100 rupees from account C. Then whenever transaction T1 and T2 get executed, how it will be recorded in the log file, we have to see now. Okay, suppose here read A, because T1 has first T1 has to started execution from this instruction till this instruction, then T2 has to execute. Suppose serially T1 and T2 are getting executed, then T2 will execute, start execute from this instruction to this instruction. Okay, then when T1 will execute read A, before that first you have to, it has to insert one record. T1 has started, that's why T1 start, this record has to be inserted in the log file. Then A is equal to A minus 100. That means suppose initial value of A is your $1,000. Then A is equal to A minus 100. Okay, then T1 comma A comma old value is your old value, we have to put 1000 comma 900, or directly we can put the new value 900 here. Okay, then write A. How write A will be executed? Then what write A will be executed like this, T1 A 900, but this cannot be put in the log file. Then read B means, then here then read operation, there is no such what line we have to put in read B. B means it will read 2000, then B is equal to B plus 100, that means 2100. Then write B means it will put this line T1 B 2100, or we can put it as T1 B, previously it was 2000, then now it is 2100. Okay, old value new value, in this way also we can fit. Then your T1 has completed, this is your commit, then T1 commit record we have to put. Similarly T2 has to be executed, then first we have to insert a record, that is your T2 start. Then it has read the C value, suppose C value is your 3000, then 3000 minus 100 is equal to 2900. Then write C means 2900, it has to be written. Then T2C 2900, or we can write T2C, previously it was 3000, now it is 2900. In this way also you can put the record in the log file. Then T2 has completed, that means commit statement is there, then T2 commit. In this way, whenever a transaction getting executed, for every instruction one record is inserted in the log file. Okay, that means basically for starting of the transaction and commit transaction. End of the transaction means commit of the transaction, and basically for write operation. All those things should be present in the log file. And the values of different data items are changed in the database only after their corresponding log records have been updated in the log. Okay, that means first, whenever a transaction wants to execute any instruction, first it will update in the log file. That means first it will insert a record on the log file, then only it will do the actual operation, do the updation operations. Okay. And default database modification, actually database modification is of two types. One is your default database modification, another one is your immediate database modification. First we will see what is a default database modification. Redo operation, redo of transaction TI is known as default database modification. It sets the value of all data items updated by transaction TI to the new values. The set of data items updated by T and their respective new values can be found in the log. The redo operation must be idempotent, that is executing it several times must be equivalent to executing it once. Transaction TI needs to be read on if the log contains, this is very, very important. When the transaction default database modification, we call the modification to default database modification. Transaction TI needs to be read on if the log contains both the record TI start and record TI commit. If in the log file TI start is there and TI commit is there, then in that case, suppose failure occurs here. Suppose failure, after that failure occurs, then we have to redo this transaction, redo of TI. That means no need to undo this transaction. This is known as default database modification. Okay. Thus, if the system crashes after the transaction complete its execution, it has executed commit statement. That means the transaction has completed. Then after that, if failure occurs, the recovery scheme uses the information in the log to restore the system to a previous consistent state after the transaction had completed. That's why we have to do the redo operation, redo of transaction TI. And example, suppose crash occurs just before TI T1 commit. Suppose this is the database log, T1 started, T1A 900, T1B 2100, and the T1 commit. Suppose here T1 commit is there, before that failure occurs. Okay, as T1 transaction T1 commit is not present, then we cannot put redo here. When the system recovers, no redo actions need to be taken. Here redo action we cannot take in, because T1 commit is not present. Suppose a second case, this is your case 1. Suppose in second case we will see crash occurs just after T1 commit. Here T1 start is there, then it has modified the A value T1A 900, it has modified the B value T1B 2100, then T1 commit. It has saved the state, okay, transaction T1. Then crash occurs just after T1 commit, commit के बाद है तो T1 start is there and T1 commit is there. That means we can do or redo T1 in this case. When the system recovers, the operation redo T1 is performed since the record T1 commit appears in the log. Okay. Then another case, suppose case 3. In case 3, suppose crash occurs just before T2 commit. Okay. Suppose here, here we have to see T1 start is there, then T1 commit is there, T2 start is there, T2 commit is not there. That means for T1, a redo will be done because both T1 start and T1 commit are present, and for T2 we cannot do redo operation. Okay. Then for case 4, crash occurs just after T2 commit, just after T2 commit. Here T1 start is there, T1 commit is there, T2 start is there, T2 commit is there. That means for both T1 and T2, redo occurs. Redo will happen for both T1 and T2 in this case. These are the 4 cases where how the database will be modified. Database modification will be done, that we have discussed. Now we'll see immediate database modification. Suppose this scheme allows database modifications to be output to the database while the transaction is still in the active state. Data modification written by active transaction is called uncommitted modification. That means suppose one transaction is executing, T1 transaction, TI transaction is executing, but it has not executed the commit statement. If it has not executed the commit statement, that means it is a active transaction. That means it is currently what executing. In this case, if failure occurs, then what we have to do? We have to undo it, and this is known as immediate database modification. Whenever you are redoing the whenever you are redoing all the instructions execution of or a transaction, that is known as your default database modification, and whenever you are undoing a transaction, that is known as immediate database modification. Okay, and when this immediate database modification happens, when uncommitted transaction is there, that means whenever a transaction has not executed the commit statement, at that moment you basically um, do the undo operation. Okay, and this basically occurs uh, in the event of crash or transaction failure. The system must use the old value field of the log records to restore the modified data items to the value they had prior to start of the transaction. The undo operation accomplishes this restoration. How undo operation restores this? The execution of transaction TI proceeds as follows. Whenever we are doing the redo operation, remember, suppose one write operation, one record is inserted in the log file as such as suppose transaction TI, then X, then 5 and 6. Suppose 5 is the old value and 6 is the new value. Then whenever this redo operation happens on TI, at that moment TI will X will take the 6 value. 6 is the new value. But when undo operation will be performed on this record or on this transaction TI, at that moment X will take the 5 value. Okay, value 5. That means old value it will take. The execution transaction TI proceeds as follows. Before TI starts its execution, the system writes the record TI starts to the log. Okay. During its execution, any write operation by TI is proceeded by the writing of the appropriate new update record to the log. Okay. When TI partially commits, the log writes the record TI commit to the log. Okay. Already we have seen this. Okay. In this case, immediate database modification. Suppose T1 has just started, then T1 has modified the value of A from 1000 to 900. T1 has modified the value of B from 2000 to 2100. Then T1 commit. Okay, that means here T1 commits. Then T2 starts. T2 has modified the C value from 3000 to 2900. T2 has committed. Okay, then in this case, in this database state, suppose after this failure occurs, then for both T1 and T2, a redo operation we have to perform. Why? Because a redo operation we have to perform. This is a default database modification, because whenever a transactions, both T1 start and T1 commit statement will be there in the database log. At that moment, we have to do the redo operation. That's why for transaction T1 as well as transaction T2, both start and commit statement is there. That's why in this case we have to perform redo operation for T1 and T2. Okay, and whenever a transaction does not contain the commit statement, at that moment what you will do? You will undo the operation, and when you will perform redo operation, what will be the value of A? After redoing, the value of A will be 900, because this is the new value. The value of B will be 2100. The value of C will be 2900. Okay, in this case. And what is undo of ti and what is redo of ti? Already I have completed. It restores the value of all data items updated by transaction ti to the old values, and it sets the value of all data items updated by transaction ti to the new values. I have already told you the undo and redo operation must be idiopatent. Transaction TI needs to be undone if the log contains the record TI start but does not contain record TI commit. And when undo will be performed? When TI start will be there but the TI commit is not there. At that moment, what you have to undo the operation. But when you will do the redo operation will be performed when TI start as well as TI commit will be there in the log file. Suppose immediate database modification, suppose case 1, crash occurs just before T1 commits. In this case, T1 start is there, but T1 commit is not there. Before T1 commits, suppose failure occurs. Then what happens? Then we have to do the undo operation here. We have to do undo operation on T1. Okay. When we will do undo operation, what will be the value of A? Value of A will be your 1000 and value of B will be your 2000. That means the old value will be present, all value will be set for the variables. Okay. And case 2, crash occurs just after T1 commits. Here T1 start is there, T1 commit is there. Then just after T1 commit, the crash occurs, failure occurs. That means in this case we have to do the redo operation. Why? Because T1 for T1 transaction, both start and commit statements are there. Whenever both start and commit statement will be there for a particular transaction, at that moment we have to perform the redo operation. Okay, and mm, and after redoing, the value of A will be your 900 and your value of B will be your 2100. Okay, these are the updated values or new values. Case 3. Suppose in this case, suppose crash occurs just before T2 commits. Okay, suppose here T1 has started, T1 commits, and T2 started but T2 has not commit. Before commit, suppose failure occurs. Then what happens? In this case, for T1, we can do redo operation, and for T2, we can do undo operation. Okay, for T1, redo operation will be performed, for T2, undo operation will be performed. For crash occurs just after T2 commits. Here T1 start is there, just in the database log we have to see T1 start is there, T1 commit is there, T2 start is there, T2 commit is there. That means both for T1 and T2 we have to do redo operation, and after redo all the variables will take the new value. That means in this case 900, in this case 2100, in this case 2900. New value will be taken by all the variables. Okay, now we'll see checkpoints. Okay, what is checkpoints? When a system failure occurs, we must consult the log to determine those transactions that need to be redone and those that need to be undone. Okay, that means so whenever any failure occurs, that's then we have to check the log file and we have to undo some transaction and we have to redo some transaction. For this, we need to search the entire log to determine this information. There are two major difficulties with this after. Suppose one log file is there. Suppose the system has been switched on for 10 hours. Then in 10 hours, the log file is very big. That means to check the whole log file from starting to the end, it is very time consuming. The search process is time consuming, and most of the transactions that need to be read on have already written their updates into the database. Although redoing them will cause no harm, it will nevertheless cause recovery to take longer time. Okay, to reduce these types of overhead, that means time consuming overhead, and also this longer period of time, it will take longer period of time to what reduce this overhead. Checkpoints can be used. What is checkpoint? Output onto stable storage all log records currently residing in main memory, and output to the disk all modified buffer blocks, and output onto stable storage a log record is known as checkpoint. That means suppose one log is there in a particular time cap, what we will do, we will save the state of that what log file to a stable storage. Okay, while a checkpoint is in progress, transactions are not allowed to perform any update actions such as writing to a buffer block or writing a log record. And whenever a checkpointing is happening, that means it is creating one checkpointing. At that moment, writing to buffer or writing to a log record is not performed, generally not performed. Okay, and how checkpointing works? Suppose after a failure has occurred, first scan backward from end of log to find the most recent checkpoint record. Suppose this is the year log file. Okay, suppose here failure occurs. Whenever failure occurs in the log file, from the backward we will go to the checkpoint. Suppose here checkpoint is there, here another checkpoint is there, here another checkpoint is there, here another checkpoint is there. That means scan backward from end of log to find the most recent checkpoint record. Suppose this is the most recent checkpoint record. Okay. Continuous scanning backward till a record TI start is found. That means in this case from this point again scan till finding out a TI start. Suppose here TI start is there and here another TI start is there, and here suppose another TI start is there. So suppose three TI starts are there. Okay. Once the system has identified transaction TI, that means all TI starts, the redo and undo operation need to be applied to only transaction TI and all transaction TJ that started executing after transaction TI. Let these transactions are denoted by the set T. The earlier part of the log can be ignored and can be erased whenever desired. That means the earlier part can be ignored. This part no need to consider. Okay. Then for all transactions starting from TI or later with no TI commit records has to be undo. Suppose one transaction TI start is there, but for that transaction TI commit is not present. That means for that transaction we will do the undo TI. That means that transaction will be undone. And scanning forward in the log for the transaction starting with TI with a TI commit, then execute redo TI. That means from the TI, we will scan till the end of the log file, and wherever for the transaction TI start is there as well as TI commit is there, for those transactions, redo operations will be performed. Okay. In this way, generally recovery works. Suppose here a example is there. Suppose here various transactions are performed and this is the log record. Suppose this is the log file and it contains system failure at that place. Then when system failure occurs, we have to go to the latest or most recent checkpoint, this point, TC. Then no need to consider T1 here because it is before checkpointing. This transaction has completed before checkpointing. Then from T2, we have to start uh, till T4. What operation we have to perform? Transaction in T2 and T3, okay, will be read on because here commit statement will be there. Here T3 commit statement will be there. T1, T2 start as well as T3, T2 start, T2 commit, and T3 start, T3 commit is there. That's why for T2 and T3 we have to perform the redo operation. And for T4, suppose commit statement has not executed before commit of T4, suppose failure occurs, then read on of T4 will be occurred on done. A redo of T2 and T3 will be done and undo of T4 will be occurs. Okay, by taking checkpointing periodically, the DBMS can reduce the amount of work to be done during restart in the event of a subsequent crash. Okay, if we will not use this checkpointing system, checkpointing concept, what we have to do? Whenever any failure occurs, we have to check the log file from the starting, and this is a very time consuming process. And this is all about your main important thing is your database modification. What are the various kinds of database modification? One is your default database modification, another one is your immediate database modification. Default database modification, when default database modification is means redoing of a transaction, redo of TI, and immediate database modification means undoing a transaction, undo of TI. Okay, and when redo of TI occurs, whenever a failure occurs and a particular transaction has uh, both the statement TI start and TI commit is present in the log file, then at that moment we generally do the redo of TI. And whenever we will do the undo of TI or immediate database modification, whenever for a particular transaction TI start is there but TI commit is not there, at that moment we'll do the undo of TI. Okay, and these are the various database modification and checkpointing concept we have seen, how checkpointing works we have seen, and this is all about your recovery. Thank you.